Mark Milligan will lead the Australian side tonight in the absence of both Tim Cahill and Mile Jedinak. It's the third time that Milligan has captained the Socceroos, and the first time was also against South Korea in the East Asian Cup in that country back in 2013. So neither team in their preferred colours tonight. South Korea prefer to play in red, Australia in gold. They're both playing in their change strip tonight. And what a noise to greet them here at the Brisbane Stadium. Two teams very familiar with one another. Squared off in the last Asian Cup as well in Doha. It was a 1-1 draw on that occasion. Koo Jia Chol, who starts tonight, opened the scoring before Mile Jedinak equalised. And there are no survivors from the Australian 11 that night in tonight's 11. We'll now pause for the national anthems of both countries.
And now, the national anthem of Australia.
What an incredible atmosphere in Brisbane. A sellout crowd nudging 50,000 pumped to watch Australia and South Korea square off for top spot in Group A. Both teams have 6 points out of 6 so far, but superior goal difference means the Socceroos need only a draw to head back to Melbourne for Thursday's quarter-final. The team which finishes second will face China here on the same night. Check out the team news for you. And Ange Postecoglou makes 4 changes to the team which started against Oman, including a completely new look front three of James Troisi, Tommy Juric and Nathan Burns, who makes his first start in more than 4 years. He's yet to score in 8 games for his country, but does lead the A-League Golden Boot race with 10 goals this season for Wellington. There's also a change at left back as Aziz Bayic and Jason Davidson rotate again. Massimo Luongo starts his 3rd straight game. He has been one of the stars for the Socceroos thus far. Our referee tonight from Bahrain, Mr. Nawaf Shukralla. And a rare occasion where the captain of the visitors is more at home in this city than his opposing skipper Mark Milligan, because Ki Sung Jung lived in Brisbane for 4 years, attending a local school here from 2001. Check out the team news for South Korea, and Uli Stilica makes another 6 changes to his lineup after that 1-0 win over Kuwait, but Son Heung-min is still not fit enough to take his spot in the lineup. The number 18, Lee Jong-hyuk, will lead the line, while there's a third different combination in the heart of defence with Kwak Tae-hui partnering Kim Yong-won. Tommy Urich scored against both of them at club level for the Wanderers as they won the Asian Champions League last year. Both Mile Jedinak and Chris Hurd not on the substitutes bench tonight. Hurd ruled out of the tournament with an Achilles injury. Mile Jedinak still hasn't overcome that ankle concern. Son Heung-min is listed as available as a substitute for South Korea, but Uli Stilica did question whether he will be involved tonight. Ange Postecoglou back at the venue which brought him his biggest highs as a coach so far, winning back-to-back grand finals in 2011 and 2012 with the Brisbane Roar, and Uli Stilica finding out the hard way that there is no honeymoon period for coaches of South Korea. The 60-year-old German under the pump for team selection and the style of football being played. He needs a positive performance tonight to silence the critics. Well, the moths are a big factor, as you saw there. They've come into this stadium over the last 24 hours and hopefully won't cause any players concern at key moments tonight, but there are plenty of them around. They were trying to vacuum them up earlier on. So the battle for top spot in Group A starts now. And how important is it, Robbie Slater?
Well, it's massively important. Both coaches very aware of finishing top of this group, and that is to stay away from the threat and the danger that is Japan, which would be lurking in the semi-finals. Australia only need a draw. That sometimes can be a problem, but one thing's for sure, the way the Socceroos are playing at the moment, they don't play for draws.
Straight on the attack. Chol waits in the middle for the delivery, and they get an early corner.
Yeah, Han Kyo-won, who's going to play on that right-hand side, just got in the little pocket in between the lines there, and he tried to get around the outside. He wins his side a corner. Straight on the front foot. South Korea, who by their own standards and their own admission have been somewhat disappointing in the first 2 games. 2 1-0 wins over Oman and Kuwait, with the Socceroos having put 8 past those 2 teams, 4 in both games, only conceding the 1.
Kim Jin-soo across to take the corner, but before he can fire it in, the referee wants a word. A warning for Matthew Sporanovic about the way he's going, dealing with his immediate threat. And Matt Ryan with a good claim as Ki Sung Jung tried to get on the end of things. And now Ivan Franjic, who was a star, is a legend in these parts after winning 3 titles with the Brisbane Roar. He's become the first choice right back under Ange Postecoglou. There's Milligan wearing the captain's armband tonight in the absence of both Jedinak and Tim Cahill.
Yeah, fantastic performance from Milligan against Oman, and it's a different role for him. And you know, we're used to it. Victory they play with 2 holders, and he makes a lot of darting runs from that position. But for the Socceroos, in the way they play with the 2 advanced midfielders behind that front 3, it requires more discipline, and he certainly showed that against Oman.
Here is Milligan, who's captained the Socceroos twice before. The first time also against South Korea at the East Asian Cup in 2013. So the Melbourne Victory skipper. Quickly closing down Koo Jao Chol. And here goes Han Kyo-won again. And Matt Ryan can let it go. Just too much on the cross that time and out for the goal kick.
Yeah, but he looks sharp, doesn't he? The number 12, Han Kyo-won, just spinning Bayage there, used his body well, and he's off. He hit that cross a little bit too hard. He could have gone another couple of metres.
Franjic down the line for Luongo. So impressive, particularly against Kuwait in the tournament opener. Man of the match after a goal and an assist. Burns just left alone. Great to see him get his chance tonight. He demanded selection in their squad after his exploits with the Wellington Phoenix in the A-League competition. Former teammate of Han Kyo-won at Incheon, and Burns only got to play 3 games in a 2-year spell there. So he'll be determined to show South Korean fans what he's all about tonight.
A bit of motivation for him. And that front three completely changed. Cruz, Cahill and Leckie, they've been absolutely dynamite in the opening 2 games. So it's a lot to ask for the new boys. There'll be a foul. A return from Luongo, but Burns operating on the right. Troisi on the left, who played in that first game, but in the one of the 2 attacking midfielder roles. And Juric, of course, up front, who scored against Oman.
Australia taking the free kick quickly. They want to play high-tempo football under Ange Postecoglou. Mackay set a task, and Ki Sung-young picked his pocket. Troisi giving away the foul. Different role for him tonight. Scored in stoppage time against Kuwait to round off that 4-1 thumping. Kwak Tae-hui, the veteran centre-half, getting his first start of the tournament tonight for South Korea, the Al Hilal man. This is lovely play. Jinking inside. Now Park Joo-ho leaves it. Australia trying to clear their lines. And eventually out of there. Luongo didn't bring it under control initially and can't release Burns. It's looking a little shaky at the back. Australia in the early stages. Flick on from Jong-hyuk.
What about that run from Kujo Shoal? Certainly attacking Aziz Bayic's side at the moment. And that was Kujo Chol, who was backing up Han Kyo-won. What a run. He dipped his shoulder twice. Just couldn't find the delivery for South Korea to maybe open the scoring. They've made the better start, South Korea. Kujo Chol playing in that number 10 role, just behind Lee Jong-hyuk.
Goes up against Branovic here and brings it down for his teammates. Offside, though, is the call against Jong-hyuk.
No, I think it went out for a throw-in, didn't it? I think it was a little sloppy pass from Han Kyo-won and throw into Australia.
Not getting as much time on the ball in midfield as they did in their opening 2 group games. The Socceroos, Tommy Juric trying to defend from the front. Tae-hui retreating to Shin Hyun. Joo-ho over the top of Matt Mackay. Referee with a warning about leading with the forearm, perhaps.
Yeah, he's the one that sits mostly. He sits alongside Ki Sung-young. Park Joo-ho is the ones that are always snapping at the heels in the midfield area. They're nice and compact, South Korea at the moment. Australia finding it difficult to play in and find the feet of the 2 attacking midfielders or the wide men. And those wide play so important. We talked about Robbie Cruz and Leckie, how good they've been, and it's about rotation as well. Sometimes they've stayed wide, sometimes they've drifted inside and create overloads in midfield.
Kujo Chol just missing his mark, and a chance for Australia to pass through the lines. A nice link-up play between Troisi and Burns. And Franjic being encouraged to push on by the Brisbane fans. Ki Sung-young wants to break things up. Lee Kun Ho thought his captain was going to move into that space. And Uli Stilica just telling his team to calm down when they win back possession in that part of the pitch. Not out of play. That's a hold up play from Jung Hyuk. Yes, Lee Kun Ho, who was asked to lead the line in their previous game against Kuwait. Now out to his preferred left wing position.
We haven't seen much of him yet. They've gone down that right-hand side with Ran Kyo Won mostly, so we haven't seen much of Lee Kun Ho. That was a brilliant touch there from Jung Hyuk. Ball going over Milligan, he chested it down.
Taehui across to pump it into the stands as Troisi was released by Mackay. Sloppy ball back inside. Easily cut out. Just looking to find their rhythm. A completely new front three for the Socceroos.
And that's probably an explanation. They haven't found that rhythm yet. And South Korea nice and compact, defending well.
Juric was onside there. Well, he wasn't. The flag went up belatedly. The assistant just waiting to see whether the big striker got involved. Once he deemed him to be interfering with play, the flag went up. A lot of talk about Tommy Juric's future over the last few days, linked with a multi-million-dollar deal with Shanghai Shenhua. The word is he'll turn that down and try and head to Europe, perhaps, still on the books of the Western Sydney Wanderers.
Well, no disrespect to the Chinese league, but I think a player of his age should be aiming to go to Europe in the big leagues.
23 years old, Tommy Juric has had a crack in Europe before. Back to Australia initially with Adelaide United. Here's a mistake. Burns trying to pick out Juric, who was unmarked in the middle. Would have had a tap in, so did well to salvage the situation. Hit the centre half, Kim Yong-gwon.
Yeah, he did well, Kim Yong-gwon, with a big mistake. And Nathan Burns, he knows Juric is there and he just can't get there quick enough. And Kim Yong-gwon comes back and makes the interception after the initial error.
Matthew Spranovic among the targets. He scored at this end in the last A-League Grand Final for the Wanderers. Luongo hangs it up in his direction.
Keeper's missed it completely. Kim Chin-hyun.
Sainsbury upset with himself that he couldn't get on the end of it. He was half a chance there.
Well, I thought, he's obviously thinking that the keeper's favourite to get this and is surprised that he missed it.
And Burns rises against Ki Sung-yong. They'll be happy to get out of the danger zone here. And perhaps a little fortunate. Fans not happy with that decision. Sainsbury deemed to have committed the foul against Koo Cha-chol.
Well, he looks a great talent though, this Koo Cha-chol. Great balance. Maybe a little. That was very fortunate. And here's the keeper comes out. This is Sainsbury, hands to the head instantaneously.
What do you make of this policy of rotating goalkeepers from Uli Stilica?
Well, not only that, and he's had 2 clean sheets and he's rotating defence as well. Kwek Tae Hui and Kim Yong-gwon, the first time they've played together, and it's a strange one, isn't it? If you look at what Ange Postecoglou has done, pretty much the back line's been the least changed of all.
Queried about it in yesterday's press conference and got a little hot under the collar as well. Juric the target. Milligan just apologising for the ball he delivered. There's that understanding being developed between Sainsbury and Spranovic. Sainsbury missed the World Cup, that knee injury. Preferred to Alex Wilkinson, his former Central Coast Mariners teammate. shutting down the options for the forward pass, which is what Mackay wants to produce. That's a handy ball from Sainsbury, giving Troisi a chance. Urich, who pulled wide.
That's a shame, because that's exactly where they want to find him. And there's good ball from Sainsbury. And just heavy first touch from Troisi, drifted in between the lines. That's where they want to find those midfielders. There's a better touch there, and it was a good chance to construct a good attack for Australia. And the game really hasn't settled, has it? It's still very edgy. South Korea made the fast start, the better start of the two, but Australia have certainly nullified that for the moment.
Chiol again the target, trying to flick it in towards Chung Hyup, and Sainsbury can only concede the corner.
Yeah, he probably thought about maybe trying to shield that one over, but he was right on his back, had a little look, take no chances.
South Korea, who won the first two editions of the Asian Cup way back in 1956 and 1960, but haven't lifted the trophy since. Their fans are dying for success again. Whipped in. Ryan comes, doesn't get there. And the header just had to be on target from Kwak Tae Hui. And they would have been in front.
Yep, good delivery. Matt Ryan makes the decision late. You see, he hesitated. Because he hesitates, he arrives there late. And Kwak Tae Hui will be disappointed he didn't score there. He's slightly put off by the fist of Ryan there. And it's at a gaping goal in front of him. Big chance to South Korea.
A real threat from set pieces for both club and country. Kwak Tae Hui scored 5 goals in his previous 37 internationals. Pretty good return for a centre half. Can't stop Urich bringing that one down though. And no handball against Troisi. And look at Urich go. Gets away from his markers and fires in the shot. Down for the bottom corner, but not enough pace to test the keeper.
Yeah, just lacked the power. Sharp little turn. Spins away. Look at this. Quick feet. Comes inside there. It's opened up. Maybe could have taken another touch. He did have option to his right-hand side and really didn't get a hold of the shot. Comfortable save in the end for the South Korean keeper.
Also the option to slide Nathan Burns in. Great movement from Burns on this occasion. Here comes Urich at the back post. Luongo in there as well. Burns tries to sneak it home at the near post. And they'll scramble it away for a corner, South Korea, and that'll do at the moment.
Well, you know, when Nathan Burns operates on that left-hand side, more often than not, he wants to come back onto that right foot. It's exactly what he did there. Dropped the shoulder, made a half a yard, and there's a rather clumsy save from Kim Chin Hyun down at his near post, but they scrambled it away.
Luongo's delivery, looking for Urich, and Koo Jia Chol away. Lee Kun Ho did brilliantly, couldn't release Park Joo Ho for the counter.
No, the counter was on and Franjic read it. And then he tried to release Troisi, he just overhit it, Franjic. Here's the movement, so he dips the shoulder, makes the half a yard and saves at his near post, as you expect the keeper to. He's not happy, but after they've done their homework on Nathan Burns, it should know that when he operates on that left-hand side, he's always looking to bring it onto his right foot. But that's the space where he operates well, just on the inside channels, Nathan Burns.
Ange Postecoglou, the Socceroos coach, just saying how long is it going to take for the goal kick. Caught the eye of the referee as well, but there's no warning issued very early in the game for time-wasting tactics, but Ange onto it. Lovely turn from Ki Sung-yong, that burst of acceleration.
He's so tidy on the ball, isn't he, Ki Sung-yong? 2 good feet, dribbling with both there. And Australia forced them back.
And there comes the turnover. Franjic was trying to play that first time to Luongo. Got away with the miscue. No time for Burns to turn there, though. Park Joo-ho nipping at his heels. Now Kim Jin-soo getting forward. Sticking with him was Luongo. Which goes to ground, makes the referee's mind up.
That's a fairly easy one, wasn't it? I think a bit of frustration from Lee Kun-ho. He wanted that ball played to him, but Kim Jin-soo came back. Played the ball to the inside midfielder.
Franjic now based in Russia with Torpedo Moscow, but only 2 appearances for them since leaving the Brisbane Roar. Word is he's open to a loan move back to Australia. That's good link-up play, isn't it, from Bajic and Troisi. The left back fires it in towards Juric, trying to get the flick on.
Yeah, he tries to use the outside of the boot there because he's at the angle, right at the angle of the 6-yard box, so it's a difficult one. Difficult to hit with his left foot. Bajic just curls it around the centre half. He gets dragged out of his position and just misses the contact. It was going to be a difficult one. A good combination from Troisi and Bajic on that left-hand side. And he's got a real problem, Kim Chang-soo, the number 2, the right fullback for South Korea. He doesn't know whether to follow Troisi into the pocket or to stay and keep in line, and it's causing South Korea some problems.
That shows the speed of Sainsbury, doesn't it? He went past Koo Jia-chol. Milligan being closed down quickly. Ki Sung-young not happy with his teammates not following as he pressed on his opposing skipper.
Yeah, it's so important Milligan keeps his discipline, as he did against Oman. 96% passing success rate for him in that game. It was absolutely outstanding.
Burns did well to get there first after the flick on from Franjic. Forwards the cry from Ange Postecoglou. South Korea with their discipline and their shape, forcing the midfielders back. Moves it on first time. Milligan gives Troisi a chance to turn. Licence to drift infield, James Troisi. And the feet of Juric. Luongo the furthest forward for a moment there for Australia. And Troisi caught late.
Well, he touched the ball 5 or 6 times there. Troisi just had the run of the midfield. And that's Ki Sung-young comes in late.
See what, the referee wanted a word after that one. Not whipped in by Australia. Just content to pass it around and wait for space to open up. Burns firing it out to Franjic. Closed down by 2. And good decision made there. He was away if he wasn't fouled by Kim Jin-soo. Here's a better angle for Luongo to deliver. Just waiting for Milligan to get in there, who's a threat aerially as well. Juric and Spranovic also up there. Luongo teases it in.
Yeah, no one coming near post. It's certainly what he meant to do. It wasn't a miss-hit free kick. He was going for that near post. I'm not sure who was supposed to be attacking that area, that space.
Good confident passing from the Socceroos on this pitch that's been under the microscope over the last week. The worst in the tournament. Good link-up play again involving Bajic and Troisi. Here's Mackay now. And the skipper, Milligan. Back to Troisi. Australia bouncing the ball around. Still alive here for Troisi.
Yeah, just got a bit narrow, didn't it? A little one-touch passing, and they just couldn't break through that back line of South Korea. South Korea, you know, they're comfortable when it's in front of them. You see, and one of the features of the first 2 games of the Socceroos has been the penetration. It was something that's been lacking in the last 12 months, but they found that in the last 2 games with Cruz and Lecky.
Space out here for Kujachol to attack. Franjic aware of the danger. It's also been a pattern in this tournament that Australia have looked vulnerable for the opening 10 or 15 minutes and then found their stride, and it's happened again tonight. The home fans encouraged by what they've seen the last 10 minutes or so.
Well, the other thing, which is obvious and has to be stated, is the quality of the opposition. No disrespect to Kuwait and Oman, but we knew that this was the big test after very good performances against Kuwait and Oman. And games are won and lost in the 2 penalty boxes, and Australia have been good in both. 8 goals scored, only the 1 conceded, which was that sloppy set piece, the corner against Kuwait. Apart from that, it's been tremendous.
Well tidied up by Park Joo-ho. He does that so effectively for South Korea. And in the Bundesliga with Mainz. And the move again here was Lee Jong-hyuk.
Yeah, just overplayed and was trying to zip that in with pace. Kim Chong-soo, right fullback.
The way Australia want to play, pass it out from the back when they can.
Yeah, South Korea just pressing, semi-successful. Well, I'll take that back. It's successful. They get the free kick.
It was a late whistle, but contact from Franjic on Lee Kun-ho.
Yeah, and that pressing started from number 10, Kujachol. Just made Ryan kick it to this side of the park, and that is a foul. Franjic into the back of Lee Kun-ho.
The referee just waited to see if any advantage would accrue. Free kick roll down the line. That's going to get away from Kim Jin-soo.
Now, what's good there is he switched on Nathan Burns. You don't want your wingers coming back in the right fullback position, but sometimes you have to sacrifice yourself, and there he was aware. Ki Sung-yong trying to release the left fullback, and Burns tracked him all the way.
Going to break nicely here for Luongo. A little slip from Juric, otherwise he may have been played in first time. Instead, Burns can go against the fullback. And he stood up well, Kim Jin-soo.
Good tackle. Good from Luongo. Good couple of touches and the slick pass to Nathan Burns.
And Luongo again gets away from his marker. Alive here in the box, and suspect defending. Juric was trying to link with Troisi. Franjic delivery not bad in towards Juric. Good header away though.
What a pass that was from Dominic Luongo into the feet of Juric, and that was on. Korea deep inside their own penalty box, and Luongo found a superb pass.
Massimo Luongo, of course.
Yes.
Well, there's space out there on that right-hand side. Had to retreat to bring it under control. Kim Chang-soo. Good work, Matt Mackay. Sloppy from Troisi, though. Allows South Korea to stay on the front foot.
No, they've got no width. Look how narrow it is.
Here comes the width, though. Kim Jin-soo providing it. Also plays in the Bundesliga with Hoffenheim. And Sainsbury across.
Yeah, and he makes that challenge, and it's a foul from Lee Kun-ho, but his first touch is better. He would have been in a one-on-one situation with Trent Sainsbury, and it's the heavy first touch. The chance was gone for him. Here's South Korea pressing again.
A little shank from Matt Ryan. Dug it out just far enough, but still holding his hands up, saying, where are my options? Offside flag is up here against Lee Kun-ho.
Yeah, look, for me, and I know there's this emphasis on playing out from the back, but I think that one, Korea were well placed, pressing forward. I think put your boot through it. There's nothing wrong with that now and again when you have to.
I thought about using Bajic, instead switches it all the way back to Burns. Troisi so heavily involved. Mwongo to Juric, who couldn't make it stick.
No, he should have. Good play from Massimo Luongo.
Spaniish's header latched onto by Han Kyo-won. Koo-ja-chol, one of the danger men. Can't leave this man alone. Ki Sung-young fires it straight into Sainsbury.
Oh, that was moving. And that looked like it was definitely on target.
Carter's out here. Nathan Burns sees yellow. Ki Sung-young, I think, was asking for even more punishment. He's not that kind of player, Nathan Burns.
It's not an elbow. Nathan Burns, you see him to, and the referee says, "What, you want me to jump with my arms by my side?" It's not a swinging elbow. In fact, his elbow's tucked into his side, so okay, it may be a foul, maybe he's late, but I don't think that's a yellow card for mine.
Stilica fuming. You think back to Australia's first Asian Cup campaign.
Great.
2000, Vince Grella.
Yep, Vinny Grella sent off against Japan in the quarter-final.
Something pretty similar.
Beaten on penalties by Japan. 2007. We've got better and better though. It's our third quarter-final. We made the final.
Now the hope around this country is that they can lift the trophy on home soil.
Well, there's certainly a group of players focused. You know, they're motivated, and you know, football is very much a mental game, and you know, when you're confident, you enjoy what you're doing, the players are motivated and they want to do it again and again.
He turned 28 yesterday, did Park Joo-ho, and this wasn't the late birthday present he had in mind. In this day and age, concussion protocol, medical staff will be checking him out to see whether he can continue. They have had all sorts of problems with injury and illness.
Well, so the more you look at it, and I still maintain there's no intent to injure from Nathan Burns. His elbow was tucked into his side, but the more you see it, the worse it looks in slow motion, always does.
Pretty central for the free kick. Koo-ja-chol just drags it. Lee Kun-ho tries to help it on. Juric taking no chances.
Yeah, Lee Kun-ho's having the best of times at the moment, making wrong decisions in that front third.
Stilica checking on the welfare of his key midfielder. South Korea down to 10 at the moment, but they are in the attacking third. And that towel that hangs in the side netting has to go, according to the referee. Can be a good thing for goalkeepers not to have that towel there, or often get struck by shots. Seems to act as a target for some players. It's Ki Sung-young again, good option. Lee Kun-ho in behind, right across the face and in. South Korea in front, right where they need to be if they want to top this group. And a little touch from Lee Jung-hyuk did the damage.
Well, they fell asleep, Australia, but it's a brilliant finish and a brilliant assist from Lee Kun-ho, who's found it hard. And I just said that he's been making wrong decisions in the front third. Well, this time he makes a great one. It's a great run. The pass found from Ki Sung-young. Look, they all get attracted and they get called ball watching. And Lee Kun-ho, they just leave him alone. And that's a brilliant delivery. The run, the little dart to the near post from Lee Jung-hyuk. And he just gets the, well, it's probably his studs onto it. Brilliant cross. The studs, and it deviates past Matt Ryan, who's got no chance. That just comes off the bottom of his boot. That's a great finish from Jung-hyuk.
And they did that with 10 men, South Korea.
There was 3 Australian players, and they just fell asleep and just completely forgot about Lee Kun-ho.
Australia on the attack, helped in towards Juric. Hooked clear by Chol is just helping out in front of his back four. With Park Joo-ho still off the pitch. Good movement from Mackay. Too much on that as Australia try and come from behind as they did against Kuwait on opening night.
Yeah, mishits that cross, Mackay. You can see he's trying to get it in there quickly. He likes to hit that one on the volley. It's hard to cross a ball like that and control it on the volley.
After spilling blood, there's been a change of shirt for Park Joo-ho.
See there, he just pops up and just gets underneath it. And on the back post attacking anyway for Australia.
Good ball from Milligan. Found Luongo in space. Juric trying to control that. The assistant actually spotted that handball, even though the referee wasn't far closer.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Massimo Luongo just great vision to see the pass. It just overhit it. It's difficult for Juric to control this one. It's clear handball. The referee missed it. You're right. It was the referee's assistant that saw it. Kicking themselves, Australia, just falling asleep. South Korea with 10 men, and I mean the finish to the cross and the finish were first class from South Korea, but there's no doubt that was preventable from Australia's perspective.
Fourth official giving clearance for Park Joo-ho to come back on. Not sure why he's getting the boos. He spent 5 minutes off the pitch because he copped one. Needed to be patched up again.
A new shirt for him.
The goal scorer targeted, Lee Jung-hyuk, who's loving life in Australia. Scored his first international goal in the warm-up game against Saudi Arabia in Parramatta. And now he's second tonight. Lovely run from Luongo. Picks out Troisi. Beautiful turn. James Troisi! And side netting. Many thought it was in. It deserved the goal. Poise in the box, but he just dragged it wide.
What about the thrust? The run from Massimo Luongo up against Joo-ho, who's just come back on. He just out-muscles it. Presence of mind, picks out Troisi. You think maybe the chance is gone, but quick feet, he shifts the ball onto his left foot. You think, should he go far post? He elects to go for the near post. It's very close. In fact, maybe he's seen the goalkeeper diving towards that far post. He's tried to sneak it in, and it was so close.
And that reaction of Ange Postecoglou, very similar to around 40,000 fans here. Many were celebrating a good 30 seconds afterwards, thinking Australia were coming back to halfway after a goal. Charchiol turning Luongo this way and that. Let's be tidied up by Mackay.
What about the run from Massimo Luongo? They're absolutely brilliant. 40 metres, just out-muscled the midfielder tracking back. Park Joo-ho had just come back on.
At times you can hear Ange Postecoglou barking out the instructions, telling the player where to go with it, out to the other side or to Matt Mackay. Retreats to Mackay, closed down quickly, wasn't he, by Han Kyo-won. Just his 7th cap tonight.
There's been a good reaction from Australia since conceding. Best chance of the game for them so far. Troisi and controlling the ball.
Cynical drag back as Beige tried to get in behind there. The fans saw it. Why a few boos rang out. Now he's got possession. Troisi delivers and the deflection out for another corner.
It just got very deep there, South Korea, and Australia really just passing the ball around the edge of the box. Just looking for that little gap.
Energy-sapping conditions here in Brisbane. Australia identified by most as the fittest team in this competition. Said their preparation in Melbourne had them ready for these kind of conditions. Another corner variation to Mackay. Luongo. It's another crack.
Yeah, probably the ball back to him was overhit from Mackay, so they get another chance. Given he's looked a bit nervous at times, Kim Jin-hyun. Swing this one in. Poor
Sainsbury
corner.
can't get there at the near post.
No, it's a poor hit corner from Massimo Luongo.
Still plenty of men forward here for Luongo to try and pick out. Great movement from Burns, trying to leave it for Urich.
Yeah, South Korea are not pushing out at all when they win the ball. Sort of deep in their own half.
Kim Jin-soo might be tempted to stretch the legs.
He hasn't got much in front of him. Brilliant ball from Ki Sung-yong.
Still asked a lot of his right back.
Oh, his right back made it look hard.
He's making this look easy though, and he gets the decision too.
Yeah.
Kim Chang-soo.
Yeah, he's positive. That's why he gets the free kick. Struggled to control that crossfield ball from Ki Sung-yong, but he's nice and positive. Draws the foul from Aziz Bayic. Bit of an argument there for just body strength, really.
There's another decision given by the assistant referee and not the man in the middle.
In South Korea, you look at their set pieces, even this far out, they're not very interested in playing it short, are they? Everything they're trying, every chance they get, they sling it into the box.
Back Kwak Tae-hui to out-jump his markers, but Sporanovic wins the initial header. What about the volley? Superb technique from Han Kyo-won. Wide of Ryan's goal there.
Yeah, this ball's, as it's in the air, it's clearance. It's in the air a long time. He's already made up his mind, and just comes a little bit of shin on that as well. A good shape to it. And Han Kyo-won, who was very busy in the opening 10 minutes.
That's the end of the night for Park Joo-ho. That earlier clash with Burns has rendered him no longer able to continue. In comes Han Kuk-yong. Slot in like for like. Minutes to go until half-time.
They'd love to hit back before half-time. You see Ange Postecoglou forcing his players forward. Got both fullbacks high and wide at the moment. Two wingers have come in.
There was a little angle there to release Page, wasn't there? But Luongo didn't see it. Milligan sees that for Troisi, though.
That's a good ball from Milligan.
Now it breaks for Page after all of that. Mackay's got time this time to get his head up and try and pick someone out.
And you see again how deep they are fighting trouble, South Korea. They need a bad bounce and very nearly falls to an Australian player.
Eventually brings him down.
That was a good chase, wasn't it? The left fullback Kim Jin-soo, and I think he was looking for Lee Kun-ho to maybe just shift. He just sort of stayed on the sideline and closed all the space down. Well, you want your left winger there to, as he's bombing on down the left, just to tuck inside into the pocket.
Good climb from Page. Hits the deck and gets the whistle.
Yeah, just a bit of a scrappy period in the game. Two free kicks and clumsy challenges. Just breaking the flow, and that's not what Postecoglou wants. And it's something we haven't seen in the tournament. We've seen a lot of free kicks not given, if you want.
They've got some weapons on the bench, don't they, Australia?
Yeah.
Robbie Cruz.
Well, I said
Tim Cahill.
I said today, when I looked at the team and on a radio interview, I said the game might be won off the bench for Australia tonight. I'm hoping that's not the case, but there's certainly a lot of artillery on there.
It was fairly won by Lee Kun-ho, but big striker couldn't make it count. He's got time to survey the options. Nice one to Mackay.
And that's just where it's fallen down. It's good ball. Milligan's always played forward, and they're finding it.
Oh, Sainsbury having a crack, and it wasn't too far away. They just needed to dip a fraction earlier, but why not have a crack when it's sitting up like that?
It just set up for him. He hits it, and it dips, but it won't dip enough. He gets it a little bit on the outside of the boot, so even wasn't on target either. I'm not sure if Ange Postecoglou is very happy with that option taken.
Would have been some way to open your account for your country, though. Game number 7 for him.
Yeah, the only way the coach is happy with that option is if it flies into the back of the net or the keeper tips it over for a corner.
One handball there against Luongo. Look at Uli Stilica getting in the face of the referee. There he is, Tim Cahill. Kept in reserve tonight. Australia's greatest ever goal scorer. How long will he get off the bench? Luongo. Troisi, who's been involved in just about everything for Australia going forward. Burns shifting away from his initial marker and gets the free kick. Great spot for Australia here right before half-time.
Yeah, just as he skipped past him, just a touch from Han Kuk-yong. Great position. You see just a touch there. Just stumbles, and there's enough for the referee. Was right on the spot to give the free kick, and this is a good distance. Plenty of distance to get it up and over and down. It's the question of who's going to take it.
They've got the left foot option of Troisi there.
Well, the angle's best for a right footer, isn't it? And it's not completely out of bounds for a left footer.
You keep the keeper honest by at least having the left footer there, don't you?
Yep.
You've got the power of Juric or the placement of Milligan.
Oh, what a great time to score for Australia if they can from this position.
Looks like it is going to be Troisi.
Now they're going to shift the ball. That's the question. The wall's protecting that side and make himself a better angle. Curl it and whip it across.
Shift from Juric, leaves it for Troisi, gets right underneath it. Never a threat.
They're sort of leaning back as he hits it as well, and maybe trying to be too accurate. One thing when you're taking a free kick like that, you got to keep your eye on the ball because the goal's never going to move. Once you've looked at the goal, you've got that picture. After that, it ain't going to move. It's all about watching the ball, concentrating on your technique.
There have been so many free kicks in that kind of area in this tournament. Hasn't been the best execution thus far. We're playing 4 minutes of stoppage time after that earlier concern for Park Joo-ho. Well, one back by Luongo. Australian fans learning to love this man.
They're looking tired, South Korea. They're waiting for the half time as he lost that. Kujachol just struggled to get
Here's
back.
Burns in behind, taking advantage. Nathan Burns! What a block that is from Kim Yong-won, who came again. And now there's a counter-attack the other way. Lee Kun-ho trying to lead it. Not a lot of support. He might have to do it all on his own. Now they arrive. Trying to slip in Kujachol is a nice idea. Oh, clever. Great readjustment from Ki Sung-young. After Luongo thought he'd done enough with that flip.
Luke Kun-ho gets the ball back there. He didn't want it run out of legs.
Kim Jin-soo up there now. And Sporanovic, how often is he in the right spot at the moment for the Socceroos?
Now, what about the ball for Nathan Burns? And it just looked, didn't it, that it opened up nicely for him. We've seen him so often this season in that sort of position. Inside right channel and scoring goals from that position. But it just shows you the difference at international level. It's that fraction of a second and the chance is gone. And it was a terrific block from the South Korean defender. Certainly a lot of positives in the first half for Australia. Big negative is the obvious one, falling asleep on the goal. They've got, they've certainly had the overload in midfield.
Final minute of stoppage time being played, so Milligan looking for some kind of killer ball towards Burns.
Now, they picked up in good areas, the likes of Troisi, Burns, Luongo, gone into those pockets and been able to turn. It's just that the final pass or the final finish that's been lacking.
Spranovic will bring it down as their one final chance, perhaps right at the death. Luongo into the area. Juric waits in the middle. At the back stick, is he? No, it's just overhit and out of play, and that'll do it for the action in this first half. Well, Australia just need a draw to top Group A, but South Korea, they need all 3 points, and they're currently in the driver's seat, courtesy of this man, Lee Jung-hyuk, who applied the slightest of touch, but that's what they needed to get past Matt Ryan in the 32nd minute. So at halftime, it's South Korea 1, Australia 0. I think you identified it there though, Robbie. Fitness looks like it could be a key factor, and Australia as well, with big weapons off the bench, are still right in this game.
Yeah, 100%. And you just saw as that half wore on, South Korea were really waiting for half time, and Australia nearly punished them, got an equaliser. But yeah, Australia as well started to look a bit wary. The conditions are tough. It's very, very humid, very, very hot. I thought it was a terrific first half. It was tense. It was a good tempo. The finish for the goal for South Korea was first class. It was falling asleep from Australia, but they're still in it.
Players emerging from the tunnel here at Brisbane Stadium. South Korea were first out, looking to hold on for 3 points here. That's the only way they can top this group. If they do so, they'll be back down to Melbourne for their quarterfinal on Thursday against either Uzbekistan or Saudi Arabia. They'll find out their opponent tomorrow night, should they hold on for 3 points, while Australia will be chasing an equaliser and a win. That's always the philosophy of Ange Postecoglou, but a draw will be enough for them to top the group. Whoever finishes second, they'll be here on Thursday night at this venue against China. But Ange Postecoglou, on the big occasion at this venue, he's managed to orchestrate a few famous come-from-behind victories in grand finals, of course. First against the Central Coast Mariners and then against the Perth Glory, to win back-to-back grand finals with the Brisbane Roar. He needs to pull the right reins tonight as well. No changes made at half-time, but Tim Cahill did look sharp in the warm-up at half-time, practicing his finishing, which may be needed tonight. He's got a good sweat up too, it's Cahill. And it's South Korea at the third time of asking, who get the second half underway. They get their captain right on the ball, and he's going to be key tonight to try and dictate the tempo for them. Ki Sung-young, and he played a key role in the opening goal.
He did the pass to Lee Kun-ho, which opened it up for the only goal of the game so far, which has South Korea at the moment. Lee Jung-hyuk it was, as a foul. Spranovic into the back of Kuja Shol, who drifted out of the game in the first half. But for South Korea, they're sitting on top at the moment, top of the group, and it's so important. We talked about it at the start of the game. To finish top, Australia only need a draw, and that's to stay away from Japan. Both sides want to stay away from Japan. And there's, you'd think, and you look at you said the sweat for Tim Cahill. Well, I'll tell you what, you don't even have to run down there to sweat, but you'd think that at some stage, if it stays this way, that we're going to see Tim Cahill. So many times the lucky charm over the years. Australia, forgetting about the bench, is that the players out there did pretty good. He looks hurt.
And he's their one of their key men as well, Kujar Chol. And Uli Stilica just asking the question about an elbow being raised again. Matthew Spranovic had the forearm raised into the back of the head, and Spranovic is on a yellow card, of course, already in this tournament. So were he to pick up another one tonight, he'd be suspended.
Well, he probably should have got one for that.
From the quarter-final.
He's come in. That's a strong challenge. There's no way he's going to win the ball there. Right into the back of Kujar Chol, and he's very lucky not to get a second yellow there.
Uli Stilica, a no-nonsense player.
He looks like he's gone. Yeah, he's maybe the shoulder.
The arm.
The arm. He's got ice on the arm.
They lost Lee Chung Yong, the Bolton man, to a broken leg. He may have a broken arm by the look of that. So Uli Stilica forced to make another change after physical play from the Socceroos. Pretty handy weapon to have on the bench, isn't it, though? And the fans getting really excited to see the number 7 making his way towards the sideline.
Son Heung-min, so much talked about. Robbie Cruz was talking about him all week in the press, and one of the hottest properties in the Bundesliga, only 22 years of age, and a real superstar, like a rock star in South Korea, apparently.
He plays with Robbie Cruz at Bayer Leverkusen, and keeping the Aussie on the bench more often than not. Set piece. Lee Sung-yong delivery. And Franjic heads it out for the corner. And they've got the full complement now. They did score with 10 men in the first half, of course, but Son Heung-min out there. 4th youngest debutant ever for his country. Against Syria way back in 2010, 18 years of age, 175 days, and the wonder kid back in action after missing the second group game as well against Kuwait, and he's straight on corner duty. Son Heung-min, and tough to start with a corner, didn't get hold of it as he would have liked. Scored against Algeria at the World Cup as well.
And his second touch goes straight out for an Australian throw. It's the best of starts from Son Heung-min.
He's been battling illness. That bug that swept through the camp, he was one of the main victims. Bajic making up the ground, determined fashion, and he wants to take the throw quickly as well. He's allowed to do so eventually. Troisi, good skill. Close control, but weight of numbers wins out for South Korea. Clear nudge by Lee Kun-ho, no whistle. Australia got the advantage anyway.
Not sure there was too much in that from James Troisi. Looked like a foul, didn't it? As he came across. Lee Kun-ho just going into the back of the Australian, and nothing given.
Not much has happened in this second half as yet, apart from that serious injury concern for the top scorer in the last Asian Cup, Kujar Chol, off, and you wonder whether his tournament is over as well. South Korea through to the knockout stage and dreaming of lifting the Asian Cup for the first time in 55 years, but they're losing key players every game, it seems. Sloppy from Troisi. Lee Sung-yong will open them up for that goal. Son Heung-min moves it on for Kim Jin-soo. Chance to run at Franjic. Son's on the move in behind here. And the back post rising for the header, and well played, as is Bajic.
Yeah, he's done well. Kept to his plate. at the back post. You see, just had that little look. He keeps his eye on the ball and gets it away from the danger with Lee Kun-ho, who's changed sides. Did well to get the cross in there. Kim Jin-soo wrapped his boot around that one. And number 7 again over to take the corner, Son Heung-min, who's operating on the left-hand side since coming on.
Better delivery that time. He couldn't readjust in time. Kwak Tae-hui, who was positioned centrally, just a little flick on the way through, enough to put him off. Burns unable to take it past Kim Chang-soo. Again, a sloppy pass from Son Heung-min. Australia away in good numbers here. Juric going to pull the trigger again, is he? No. Disciplined play to tee up Franjic. And Juric! And he spoons it over the bar. That's just what they've worked on in training for the last 2 weeks or so.
Well, the biggest chance of the game. And terrific in transition. The quick counter. The ball was lost by Son Heung-min. And they worked it to the right side. You thought, Juric thought about pulling the trigger. Plays in Franjic. Terrific ball back in. And he's under pressure. No doubt about it. But he'll be disappointed. It was Kwak Tae-hui who was there. He keeps that down and you think that's a big chance for the equaliser. Terrific counter-attack from Australia.
Of course, more goals in this tournament to add to that one the other night against Oman. Will add to his price tag as he looks to make his move. He'll be thinking he should have buried that one. Trademark stuff from Ivan Franjic, what he used to do in this stadium with the Brisbane Roar.
I'm not sure what he was thinking there. Lee Kun-ho just kicked the ball out. Well, they're going to give it back to him. So
Sporting from the Socceroos.
Well, they had the chance of a counter for themselves when Lee Kun-ho just played it out. Australia creating plenty of opportunities. They're just not taking them at the moment.
Ki Sung-young just dropping in between the centre halves, and again that turn of speed. Look at him go. The star from Swansea City. This is quite some run. And Son Heung-min. Delivery to the back post. Here comes the right back. Brings it down in disciplined fashion. And Lee Jung-hyuk.
And now time for Australia. It's so
the back of the net again.
Great tackle. Great recovery from Kim Jin-soo. But what about the run? Ball to the back post from Heung-min. Laid back, and he just can't get the good connection. It's a difficult one to hit coming across his body there, but the run from Ki Sung-young in full flight. Great balance.
Oh, now Luongo riding the challenges. Coming from the clouds was Han Kuk-yong. And some terrific skill on display. Look at this man go. Son Heung-min finding his stride now. Standing up Franjic, and he thought the overlap was coming.
Well, he went to go Kim Jin-soo, but I think he was just admiring the number 7 skills. Great awareness and great feet from Son Heung-min, but not the finished product.
And Bayic afters, involving the right back, Kim Chang-soo. The assistant had the best view of the lot. He's a fiery customer. The former Melbourne Heartman, now based in Turkey with Trabzonspor. Or Bursaspor, rather.
It was an example, wasn't it, of 2 brilliant counter-attacks from both sides. Here's the clash with Bayic, and there's no doubt there's a foul there. Right fullback Kim Chang-soo. But the 2 counters, the one ending up with Juric missing that chance for Australia, and the other counter from South Korea, and 2 different type of counters. There are different way to counters. There's ones with quick passing, quick transition. That was Australia's counter. And the other way to counter is through an individual. And that's how South Korea did it with Ki Sung-young, just bursting a full 55, 60 metres with the ball at his feet.
Is there a headbutt here?
It's not a real Liverpool kiss, that one. But still, dangerous to even attempt that sort of movement.
He's just checking on his run. He wound up giving Mackay an angle, and he's fired up, isn't he, as his badge. What a terrific run. He was caught late there by Ki Sung-yong.
He went outside, went inside and draws the foul. Tried to stay on his feet.
Cards coming out here for the delaying tactics, and Ange Postecoglou will like the looks of that because he sensed the go slow has been on for most of the night.
Yeah, hard kill one with a... That's a silly yellow card, isn't it? There's a run from Bates, outside then inside, inside again with the foot, and just got the contact there from Ki Sung-yong. Tried to stay on his feet. Massimo Luongo in this set piece, good position. And we try to angle this edge of the 6-yard box towards that back post.
Australia are preparing their first substitution. Matthew Leckie not too far away. Is this the moment that they come up with the equaliser? Luongo searching for the options, hangs it up, and it looked like the finishing touch was about to be applied.
Somehow a South Korean boot got there.
Trent Sainsbury was waiting for the header.
Well, it was coming directly onto his head, and you're thinking this is the moment. And somehow he gets his boot there and hooks it up and over the crossbar. Australia knocking on the door.
Now Luongo goes deep. And again, he's getting there just in the nick of time. Kim Yong-gwon. It's his intervention denying Sainsbury as well. Again, a little shaky at the back.
He's very good in the air, Kim Yong-gwon. Did look favourite to get to that ball, but was able to readjust and head of the weight.
Under control by Burns. Troisi looking for width down the left-hand side, fires it into Juric instead. And Kwak Tae-hui dealing with that threat.
A good little ball into the feet of Juric, and they're sitting very deep against South Korea, and he was able to turn, try and get the shot off. And a good block it was from Kwak Tae-hui. Matthew Leckie, who hasn't got himself a goal in this tournament, but for me, he's been outstanding. And Troisi, a good game from him. Nothing wrong with his performance. Close to getting himself a goal. Everyone thought he'd scored in the first half.
Leckie more accustomed to that role, though, isn't he, as one of the wingers than Troisi is, who started that first game as one of the midfield three. Oh, good header. Emphatic stuff from Sporanovic. They don't like the way Milligan was tackled.
Both benches were up there. The first one for Sporanovic was challenged, and Ki Sung-yong, with probably the softest challenge of the last three, draws a foul.
And Postecoglou turned away in frustration because that's what he wants. Hunting back to win the ball back quickly and then launch the counter.
Well, we talk so often about good play and teams and good teams and what they do with the ball, but good teams, the sign is how quick they get the ball back.
Franyesh caught late, advantage played. Referee may come back for further punishment there. There's a chance for Leckie, and he's caught as well.
Not a yellow card.
Foul after foul at the moment from South Korea. Not able to take that free kick quickly because the card hadn't been shown to Kim Chang-soo.
Yeah, you can see what he was thinking, sliding and trying to come away with the ball, but Leckie managed to just shift it and just keep his body in the way, and gets nowhere near the ball. And now another chance for Luongo. Similar position, just slightly wider from than the last one.
It must have looked like slow motion before for Sainsbury. Delivery not bad again. That was Sainsbury rising. Plenty of South Korean players where the ball dropped as well, and now a counter-attack is on. Goes to ground, and the referee says you dived.
Well,
to Kim Jin-soo. Now Leckie likes delivering from this side with the outside of the right boot, doesn't he? We saw the other night Luongo encouraged to shoot There was no angle. Now Leckie wants it at the back stick. Nathan Burns goes to ground, and the referee says goal kick.
Yeah, I think there's contact, but it's far too soft on the first lift. Look at that, Nathan Burns. Good acceleration. Looked like he was maybe past him. Just had an arm out there, but I don't think he's ever going to give that. It's good pressure from the Socceroos. They're driving South Korea further and further back. Of course, Australia only need the one to get the draw to finish top of the group.
The team that finishes second in this group knows who they'll play already. It'll be China here in Brisbane. He's onside here, Juric. Kept onside by Kwak Tae Hui in the middle. Tries to pick out Leckie. There's no one in the middle if Leckie is able to bring it under control. He did so using his pace. And now Mackay on the edge of the area. Pokes it back, hoping for either Milligan or Burns. That counter-attack's not going to come off.
Well, they look tired already, South Korea. And there's just one up front there. It's the only one he had to hit, Lee Jong-kyuk. He was never going to get there. Australia come again.
The movement from Leckie opening up this space for Franjic, who finds the feet of the substitute. On the turn, he gets the shot on target, but not to worry, Kim Jin-hyun.
Difficult angle. Turned on it well. Had to get away the shot quick. And he takes his first touch and then just swivels on it, and it's at the near post, and he covers it well, Kim Jin-hyun.
And comes straight out of play, much to the delight of the majority here at the Brisbane Stadium. Movement from Burns. He can leave it here for Mackay. He tried to take on his marker again. Just leaving it gaping for Han Kyo-won.
Well, they turn it over again, South Korea. Just can't keep possession at the moment. So there's excellent pressing.
Leckie a willing outlet. Juric waits in the middle. Uses Luongo. Tees it up to the back stick and just overhit for either Burns or Juric.
Yeah, good position. Might have taken an extra touch. I've seen him set up goals in that position already in this tournament against Kuwait for Tim Cahill. And you look at as he takes that first touch from the inside and maybe covered by the left fullback Kim Jin-soo and just overhits that cross.
The Swindon Town man who was signed by Tottenham, let go in the AVB era. The word is that Tim Sherwood really rated him and was upset that he moved on to play regular football with Swindon Town. I just wonder whether this tournament is showing that he's destined for higher football than third tier in England.
Been very impressed with him. For me, he's been the... You can't call him the find of the tournament because we've known about him already, but he certainly looks a class above Swindon Town, and that is with no disrespect at all to that club, but
the Red Devils here in good numbers, and what about that crowd? 48,513, just shy of what turned up in Sydney for the Socceroos last game, but much bigger capacity there at Stadium Australia, of course. This was a sellout tonight. And Son Heung-min playing him in. He's onside too, Lee Kun-ho. Leckie doing his defensive work. Now Ki Sung-young.
First bit of possession in Australia's half for quite a while for South Korea.
That's a good ball, whipped into a dangerous area. Striker goes down. Uli Stilica crying for a penalty. Lee Jong-hyuk looked like he got there first.
No, he looked to cushion that cross. He didn't complain too much, did he?
Well, it's borderline, isn't it?
It is borderline. It's clumsy.
Looks like Sainsbury got the ball first, maybe.
I'm not so sure.
No.
I think the
real argument for a penalty, isn't it?
Lee Jong-hyuk, I think he gets there first, and I think that's clumsy, and you've seen them give it.
The referee had a very good angle too. Poorly done by Matt Ryan. Allowing Milligan to turn. It's it back from Mackay.
Always got that outnumber in the midfield, Australia. Longo in the pocket.
He can use Franjic if he likes. Takes on Son Heung-min instead. South Korea trying to keep their shape defensively. When does Ange Postecoglou call on Tim Cahill? Might be very shortly. Not the cross he was after, and then he commits the foul in frustration.
And goes down Son Heung-min.
And the fans getting really encouraged here because Robbie Cruz and Tim Cahill are on their way to the halfway line. 2 substitutions up the sleeve of Ange Postecoglou. And a quarter of the game to go. He's calling on the big guns.
There's the foul on from Franjic, and just a miss-hit cross just seconds before this.
Just not too far away. Australia's greatest ever goal scorer, and Robbie Cruz as well. Brisbane born and bred. He'll be delighted to get this game time in front of family and friends.
Well, Robbie Cruz will become acquainted with the pitch he was talked about all week. Not happy at all.
Called it a disgrace.
Well, in fact, he said Brisbane's never had a good pitch. Well, that was a bit harsh.
And he weaves some magic out there, as he did on debut for the Brisbane Roar on his 19th birthday. Scored the winning goal on that occasion against Wellington. A long time ago now, October 2007. Closed down. Mackay won it back. Or Milligan, rather. Sporanovic with a misplaced pass, but Lecky with a turn of speed to poke it away from Son Heung-min.
Yeah, and Son Heung-min, he doesn't look happy out there, does he? And he doesn't look sharp, and he's just a yard off the pace.
He's getting ready for the reunion with Robbie Cruz. The 2 Bayer Leverkusen men about to be on the pitch together.
And of course, the talisman, Timmy Cahill. How many times has he saved Australia over the years? But they've had their chances. The front 3 started tonight.
Here's Burns opening up some angles here. Nathan Burns, what a run! And they can't get the tap in through Juric. And the referee says it's a foul by the big striker. It would have counted had Burns found the back of the net, and that was electrifying.
He's so unlucky. He gets in between the lines, and this is just an individual run. Straight through the middle, works it, and makes the half a yard, goes outside the last defender. Right idea, and he just doesn't get it across the keeper enough. And I was about to say the front 3 have had their chances, and Nathan Burns, with his last action, so nearly gets the equaliser. Brilliant feat. Just a couple of inches for that to go past the outstretched Kim Chin-hyun, and you have to credit him with that save.
And what about the roar around this stadium as Tim Cahill makes his way out onto the pitch to try and save Australia.
Yeah, and comes in for Matty Mackay in one of those attacking midfield roles, Tim Cahill. So Juric stays on. Cruz to the right. Lecky moves over to the left-hand side. Australia with all their aces on now.
Luongo dropped a little bit deeper after those new arrivals. Franjic can poke it down the line to Cruz. Eventually he does. Cuts inside immediately. And Juric can't get there. He's just closed down at the key moment as he looked to provide the right cross.
I think it was Son Heung-min that just got a toe in there. And there's that possession. It's been all Australia in this second half. 65%. It's been wave after wave, and South Korea have still looked dangerous on the counter. Less and less so, you'd have to say.
Pretty close, the two Bayer Leverkusen men. Now Cruz bursting away.
That's overhit. What a shame from Massimo Luongo. That pass, he hasn't put too many passes astray, but Robbie Cruz knows he was in a really good position there. Ange Postecoglou not happy with the amount of time it's taking to take a goal kick. Well, they're not going to rush themselves. And for that, you can't blame them.
Emphatic header from Sainsbury. Tae Hui. Good physical work against Juric, but it breaks for Luongo. Picks out, or tries to pick out Tim Cahill. Lecky can let it run for the corner.
And you just see the forward run from Cahill. Now once they won that ball, Kwek Tae Hui turned it over. He was on his bike into the penalty box.
Oh, sloppy from the corner variation. Luongo couldn't make it stick initially.
He had nowhere to go though, did he? Number 12, Kyo-1.
Poked out of play by South Korea. Australia can stay on the front foot. Where Cruz has popped up.
By every player in the South Korean half. South Korea camped on the edge of their 18-yard box.
Matt Ryan's only 30 metres away. He's well outside his area. Don't need the foul there. Disciplined stuff from Robbie Cruz. And they find the angle as Cahill and Juric wait in the middle. Keeper comes. And good confident claim over the big striker.
Tim Cahill with a little bit of afters the referee. Timmy's just saying, get up. Stelica, he's about to make a change as well. He needs some fresh legs. There's no doubt about that.
He's only got one more left though, doesn't he?
Yeah. But they look a tired outfit, South Korea. They're still battling, and we know that's South Korea's style. They'll fight tooth and nail. Yeah. The importance in this game. South Korea, as it stands, with 15 minutes or so plus injury to go, top of the group. And it's so important. Both these sides want to finish top to try and stay away from Japan in the semis. Australia only need a draw. They need to find one goal.
Tim Cahill putting himself about. Confrontation with Kwek Tae Hui. That's some kind of cross from Tim Cahill, but Juric came near post.
Well, it looked virtually impossible from that angle to get a ball of that quality across. Unfortunately for him, there was only Juric who'd come to the near post. No one coming in at the back post.
Fully done by the skipper under pressure.
And they turn around. See, Australia's pressing has been first class.
Luongo took it away from Son Heung-min. They do look the fresher. They've got all those substitutes in the attacking third. Lecky overhit it for Beige.
They possibly could have played that 5 or 6 seconds earlier. And the number 12, he's looked down on his feet, hasn't he? Han Kyo-1, the player to be replaced.
Jang Hyun-soo, the new man. He's run himself into the ground on the right wing for South Korea. Han Kyo-1. Extra reinforcements for South Korea.
Yeah,
Stilica.
Yeah, unsurprising. An attacking player off, and the new player Jang Hyun-soo is a defender.
Extra body in defensive midfield where he's slotted in. Matt Ryan gets a touch. been a while. Closing down at the angles by South Korea. Now Lee Kun-ho through the legs of Baich. Luongo's engine, the ability to get his body in front.
He's just swamped by 3 Australians. He did actually quite well, the number 11 Lee Kun-ho, to keep onto the ball for that long. You can feel the intensity, the tenseness of this situation. South Korea hanging on to top spot. Australia pushing for an equaliser.
Leckie trying an audacious backheel. Robbie Cruz, there was no room for that. Cahill came in to try and win it back quickly within that 5 seconds they often talk about.
Australia 12 shots, South Korea 6, and look at the amount of passes. It's nearly double. 390, Korea just over 200. Such has been Australia's dominance. But
Son Heung-min bustled off the ball again by Cahill this time. Cruz gets his head up and teases it towards Cahill or Urich, and Kwak Tae-hui at the drop of the ball. Brought down by Luongo. Cruz trying to trick his way past.
Well, I was about to say, Australia pushing and probing, but South Korea have defended so well inside their penalty box.
Here's a worry. Referee, is he going to show Matthew Sporanovic a card? He is. He'll miss the quarter-final.
Well, you can't have any arguments because, and there he should have known really. I mean, he was going nowhere, wasn't he? He was completely isolated. The big striker Lee Jong-hyuk. Sporanovic could have had, probably should have had a yellow card earlier. And that one, he should have been just shepherding him. And he's given a shove in the back. Gave the referee no option.
So a door opens again for Alex Wilkinson. You'd think he'd be called upon in the quarter-final.
Yeah, well, he's got so much experience and a really good replacement to be able to call on.
You heard Matthew Sporanovic scream, "Oh no," when he saw the card coming out. Run back by Milligan. Leckie trying to readjust, unable to do so, but it's going to be Matt Ryan's ball.
Well, when you look at the right fullback, Kim Chang-soo just turns around in disgust, but Lee Kun-ho gave no indication that he was going to make that run. And he's finding it hard to even get back into his own half at the moment. Uli Stierlicher is up, urging his players to keep fighting, which they are. Now, defending is an art, and they've defended very well their penalty box. But can they keep it for another 10 minutes?
Cruz trying to poke it out to Franjic. Milligan tidying up in front of the defenders. Luongo, a rare mistake. Sainsbury stepping up, and here goes Son Heung-min. The Red Devils scream as their man bursts forward. Still the Bayer Leverkusen there.
That's good defending from Sporanovic. Didn't dive in. You know how good he is on the ball. Son Heung-min, and they just shepherded him away from the danger area. Good defending.
First time in a long time they've asked all of the Australians to defend. Kim Chang-soo's delivery, and Sporanovic nods it up in the air. Should be Ryan's ball.
Important header from Sporanovic.
Look at that release for Cahill. Brilliant from Matt Ryan. Cahill nodded it down for Urich. Tried to poke it through. And now Leckie on the follow-up. Encouraged to shoot, but that's the discipline option. Get it out to the space on the right-hand side. Ivan Franjic finds the feet of Leckie. Now Cruz, look how tight it is around the edge of the area. He's onside here, Cruz.
Oh, he's overhit it, but he should get this back as he's Baich.
Cahill just waiting for some quality service. Sporanovic thought about going in, but on a yellow card.
3 on 3.
Perhaps he backed off. Son Heung-min now against Sporanovic. Oh, good challenge, Sainsbury.
Yeah, covered Sporanovic well. You're just worried there with Hong Sung-min. Poor touch. Heavy touch from Aziz Baich, because Sporanovic on a yellow card, one-on-one, Son Heung-min. They did well. They shepherded them in, and Sainsbury come across to make the interception. Now South Korea with a couple of counters. And you see South Korea when they defend in numbers in their penalty box. They're quite happy to let it go wide and just defend deep inside their own box.
A bad ball from Lee Kun Ho. There's some fresh legs. Han Kuk Yong for South Korea. Time on the ball. Lost a lot of his captain there. They've done well to maintain possession. Looked like Australia were
just having a breather, Australia, I think. Such has been the intense pressure.
Lecky back helping Bajic out.
Juric will close the keeper down here.
He's getting some personal revenge tonight, isn't he? Kwak Tae Hui, after losing out to Juric and the Wanderers with his Al Hilal club.
Handball on Matthew Lecky
in the Champions League final. Seven minutes plus stoppage time to go. Australia looking to rescue a point so they can top this group, get back to Melbourne to take on either Saudi Arabia or Uzbekistan. As it stands, they'll be facing China here on Thursday night. Still alive, of course, very much in the competition. Target to take on Japan in the semi.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Both these teams are through, and it's that quest to finish top of the group. Saw Japan, who were building their momentum themselves last night, and win over Iraq at this very venue.
Lecky searching for it. Breaks for Luongo, who rides the challenge. Still Luongo. He was the meat in the sandwich in the end. Didn't go to ground, and look at the counter-attack opportunity again. Son Heung-min delayed the pass. Now the shot is high and wide, and that'll do for Australia.
It's a tight shot, and it just lacked. They were 3-on-2 for a minute there as Son Heung-min picked up the ball, and it's just too slow in the transition to get it out to the left side. And when Massimo Luongo went through there, you thought it looked like a foul, didn't it? The referee was there. Credit to him. The way play on.
That illness has drained Son Heung-min, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't look anywhere near his best tonight. There's Cruz. Lecky with the hold-up play. Cahill waits in the middle. Franjic trying to pick him out. Cahill on the volley. And offside flag was up against Cahill.
He got free of Kwak Tae Hui. Kwak Tae Hui caused the decision. And there.
You have to say with the cut of the grass, the assistant referee's got it right.
Yeah, you'd have to say he got it right. Look at the challenge. And the right fullback as well, Kim Chang-soo.
There's going to be late drama here, like there was so often for Ange Postecoglou teams.
Well, they've knocked and knocked, but they haven't been able to prise open that door. And again, you've got to credit the way they've defended in their penalty box, South Korea. It's an art in itself.
He always gives his team so much confidence to play until the final whistle. It'll come, says Ange Postecoglou to his teams. And Cruz can't release Cahill.
Just at the final moment. He's a little bit unlucky. I think the ball just took a bobble as he wanted to play it to Cahill. He burst from that inside right channel. Australia will come again.
Milligan. Couldn't see an angle to Franjic.
South Korea just making no move towards the ball.
Cahill holding off his man, leaked with Juric. And just a little more deft touch and he was in there. And Bajic hangs it up and too much on it.
Disappointing. But Cahill, brilliant play, back to goal, holds the ball up, slips it to Juric, and just a softer touch. And he would have had a clear strike at goal. So the ball straight into Cahill. Great use of the body. See that? It's just too heavy. He takes a small touch there and the next one's a strike. And then the follow-up from Aziz Bajic was a tired-looking cross.
Cahill's just been a little upset with a few of his teammates and their option taking.
Yeah, it's just because he's committed. The enthusiasm of Tim Cahill.
Just give me one chance to bury a header. Closing down by the left back. He knew that Cruz wanted to get it out there to Franic. A little touch off Kim Jin-soo. A few fans were disappointed, thinking Cruz had put it straight out of play. Now Juric, back heel on now. Cruz, Robbie Cruz, and the keeper comes up with an extraordinary save, making himself big. Kim Jin-hyun, unbelievable. That was the moment for the Brisbane boy.
Fantastic play from Australia. The link with Juric, the little flick inside, great first touch, and you think he scored. It's a brilliant save. He gets a hand to it, and it's a strong hand that lifts it over the crossbar.
Now Leckie trying to get the flick on. Cruz, brilliant to get it back out into space. Luongo drives it in, looking for Milligan. And well positioned was Kim Jin-soo. Australia pushing on, and Leckie can't direct it across goal.
What a chance for Robbie Cruz. Great first touch. And there he gives it Juric. Really good awareness from him. There's the touch, sets it up, and you think he's going to hit the back of the net. And it's a brilliant save. One of the saves of the tournament, you would have to say. There's the touch. He tries to go across him, but he doesn't go across him enough.
I just wonder if that Brisbane pitch that he called a disgrace has come back to haunt, because that replay seemed to suggest there was a little bobble there, and he might have been trying to keep the shot down, which is what most strikers would say you have to do in that situation, but there was a bobble.
Yeah. Still.
If he keeps it low, the keeper's got to come up with an extraordinary save with his feet.
Here's the counter. And Son Heung-min, he doesn't really want the ball at times. He's going to win a throw-in.
That's all he wanted.
It's just a lazy run. He's just got no energy.
Good on him for putting his hand up.
You can see him on
for selection.
He's on his haunches out there. He's looking at in South Korea. Hang on.
Answering the call of Uli Stilica, and that's out rather meekly for a goal kick. And there will be significant stoppage time. We had that injury at the start of the second half, sadly for Koo Ja-chol. So we wait to see how much stoppage time there will be. The fourth official moves to the sideline. Spranovic, what a run this is. Linking with Bajic. Cahill was on the move. Cruz told to get back up.
I think that's a good decision.
Oh, that's clever. Here goes the substitute. Fresh legs for South Korea. Jang Jung-soo, and Matt Ryan makes the save. Both keepers standing up big.
Well, you just wonder why he goes with his left foot. It looked like he was opening himself to take it with his right. Good save. He stayed big, Matt Ryan.
Keeps Australia in it tonight. What a crescendo at Brisbane Stadium. 5 minutes of stoppage time being played. It's going to stay in here for Leckie. Cahill on the move. Tim Cahill trying to rise for the header, and he commits the foul and goes in the book as well, does he?
He's gone for the ball. He gets a yellow card. What about the chance at the other end for South Korea to put this game to bed? It was the substitute that had the chance. And Tim Cahill, he's going for the ball. It's great keeping. Brave goalkeeping from Kim Jin-hyun. Here's the save. Matt Ryan stays big. Look how he's got his arm out there. That's intentional. That's a great save. I still don't understand why he hits it with his left foot. He looked like he was going to open himself up and go across him with his right. Straight up the other end. I think Tim Cahill's got every right to go for that ball. There's good goalkeeping from Kim Chin-hyun. With the big chance to put the game away for South Korea. Jang Hyun-soo, there's the challenge again. Well, he gets his hand in his face, but again, I say, when you're jumping, your arms are there for balance. And there's Tim Cahill who's explaining that, as Nathan Burns did in the first half.
And yellow cards are exonerated after the quarter-final. So were Tim Cahill to get booked in the quarter, he'd miss a semi if Australia were to win it. So yellow cards can come back to haunt, and that's why he's so upset. He looked at Ange Postecoglou and said, I did nothing wrong, but he did connect with the keeper. And what about Matt Ryan, who's being tracked by Liverpool, apparently?
And here you see Jang Hyun-soo goes with the outside of his left foot. I think he just saw that. Why doesn't he take it with the outside of his right? Or if he's going to hit it with his left, hit it with the instep rather than the outside of the boot and go across him. Anyway, credit the save, as we credited the save for Kim Chin-hyun on Robbie Cruz a few minutes before. Well, this is injury time onto injury time now. Tim Cahill still arguing the point. And I think he has a point. Ange Postecoglou is probably wondering, now he's still 1-0 down. Well, he could have been 2-0 down.
And you'd have to think we're going to go somewhere near 97 minutes, maybe more now, after that long stoppage for the treatment for South Korea's goalkeeper. The chant goes up from the Australian fans. Bayes can't squeeze it down the line. To Lecky, good stretch from Kim Chang-soo. Heavy touch from Cruz. Can they take advantage of these open spaces that Australia are leaving as they chase the equaliser?
Oh, it's a good play from Lee Kun-ho. He's looked up, there was no one in the middle.
Tried to win a corner.
Well, he wasted his good work there because that's definitely a poor decision there. Sliced one from Matt Ryan. His distribution is first class, isn't it? Outside of the boot, if you like.
Yeah, big story in Liverpool suggesting they're just checking on Matt Ryan's ability with his feet and his distribution.
Well, they'll find no problem there.
Yeah, Simon Mignolet, of course, out of favour at Anfield.
Oh, it's too heavy. These are the times now, the clock ticking. Little details. And precision with their passing. That one overhit for Robbie Cruz down the right. He's probably still thinking how he didn't score.
Flick on one by Lee Kun-ho to no avail. And how long will the referee extend this game?
The referee's just looked at Uli Steele and said, no chance, mate. I'd say another easily couple of minutes.
Well, he's checking his watch, but you'd have to think it's another 2 from now. Juric being closed down. Has to retreat to Milligan. There's space out on that right-hand side now.
Got to switch it to the right. That's where the space has been most of the second half, actually.
Franjic. Cahill knows he can pick him out. He's on the move. Cahill. It's being barged off the ball is his complaint. It's out for a goal kick.
But that's clever defending. That's experience, and it's a right fullback. He probably doesn't want to find himself on Tim Cahill, Kim Chang-soo, and he just does enough, doesn't he? There's a little push here, but it's not enough to.
He had hold of his shirt the whole way. That's what Australian fans will be screaming.
Well, the Australian fans aren't the referee, Brenton. What you have to see there is Kim Chang-soo is behind Cahill almost, and has blocked himself from the line from the referee.
That'll be analysed in depth later, because he got a penalty, didn't he, in the last game? Denied Mark Milligan a goal from open play. And he had a handful of shirt the whole way there, the right back. Great skills again from Bajic. Cruz can't link up. Look at Spranovic step out. Such awareness from the big centre half. Time ticking away for the Socceroos. Franjic again, the outlet. Now Cruz. Look great for Franjic. No, they're away now. Kim Jin-soo can poke it down the line. Son Heung-min's on the move. He's got a teammate unmarked, far side. Stilica wants it played across the face of goal. Son Heung-min. Still Son Heung-min, and they get the block in. And look who it is as well.
Oh, Australia going to pour forward. What a chance again for South Korea to put the game to bed 2-on-1.
Massimo Luongo with that defensive run to get the block in. Cruz now. And Australia can tidy up. There won't be time. South Korea win it. They get the 3 points they needed to top the group and play a quarter-final on Thursday night in Melbourne. Australia will have to stay in Brisbane, and they're on a collision course with Japan in a semi-final now. They'll take on China in the quarter-finals. And all the smiles are on the faces of the Red Devils in the stands, and not Ange Postecoglou and the Australian fans. The match winner is Lee Jong-hyuk, who poked it home in the first half after Ki Sung-yong unlocked Australia's defence. And then they dug in defensively, doggedly, for the remainder of the game.